Theme parks around the world are testing the limits of what's possible by constructing the most unusual, innovative, and sometimes downright dangerous rides. Today, we'll be taking a look at the top 15 most unusual rides ever built. Number 15. The Shard VR Experience. Known as the Shard, this 72-story tall skyscraper located in Southwark, London, is one of the most recognizable landmarks in the city. At over 1,000 feet high, it's the tallest building in the United Kingdom and the 6th tallest in Europe. It's also the site of a very strange ride that is symbolic of the current digital era. The Shard has a VR experience that has guests screaming while they zoom around the skyline at over 100 miles an hour. But the strange part about the futuristic thrill is that you aren't actually moving. Number 14. The Nevis Catapult. If you're looking for an unusual and extremely frightening ride that'll make any acrophobe wish they were never born, the Nevis Catapult is the perfect candidate. Located in Queenstown, New Zealand, the ride is essentially a high-tech cable system that flings you into the open air over the Nevis Valley. At the peak of the ride, you'll be flying across 492 feet at speeds of over 60 miles an hour. For safety, you'll need to be 13 or older and weigh under 280 pounds. Unfortunately, the wire system will stop you from plunging all the way down into the valley, or at least we hope it will. Number 13. The Human Catapult. On the topic of catapults sending humans flying through the air, the Human Trebuchet was an insane ride that was more like some backyard country construction. Found at the Middlemore Water Park in the United Kingdom, one look at this ride and you will undoubtedly question whether anyone thought it through before building it. Seriously, what theme park manager approved this thing? The trebuchet launches humans 75 feet into the air towards a target net with no safety line. Unfortunately, skeptics' predictions turned out to be true when somebody died after missing the net in 2002. Number 12. The Sky Cycle. From climbing up the sides of insanely tall mountains to wingsuit gliding over scenic forests, plenty of people enjoy getting their exercise in while doing dangerous yet thrilling activities. But if you're looking for a whole new way to move your feet while looking down from 600 feet off the ground, look no further than the Washuzan Highland Amusement Park in Japan. Known as the Sky Cycle, it's one of this park's main attractions. It's a massive roller coaster that passengers ride by pedaling their carts. What's insane is that these things don't even come equipped with safety rails. You'll be entirely at the mercy of a seatbelt. The terrifyingly high ride overlooks the Seto Inland Sea. The ride is well worth the dizzying vertigo if you enjoy breathtaking landscape views. Each SkyCycle cart has 2 seats and a small basket for your belongings, but if you might faint from the height, beware. Number 11. The Death Simulator. Throughout human history, many people have been fascinated by death. For those with the strange morbid obsession, or perhaps those who are just curious, the death simulator at the Window of the World theme park in Shenzhen, China might be a satisfying experience. But if you're somebody who struggles with either the fear of death or the fear of being in tight spaces, you might want to avoid it. If you have both, you might shudder at the mere thought of this ride's existence. The death simulator consists of guests being symbolically killed by the park workers and then lying down in a coffin. Then they're pushed through a crematorium furnace before being reborn through a latex womb on the other side. The ride is completely safe, but would probably be extremely creepy. It's meant to get people to think about life, death, and perspective. Number 10. Kilimanjaro. Every kid dreams of spending their summer days sliding down the best and most exciting water slides. And while some of us are more scared than others when it comes to riding down giant slides, one particular water slide is sure to instill fear in the hearts of even the most daring water park enthusiasts. But seriously, what could be more terrifying than a 50-meter high plunge to the earth on a water slide? While water slides are quite common, the Kilimanjaro water slide at the Aldea das Aguas Park Resort holds the distinction of being the tallest water slide in the world. This petrifying water slide rises 12 meters taller than the Christ the Redeemer statue in Rio de Janeiro. At that height, it's a miracle this thing was even approved. Each year, hundreds of travelers make their way back down the stairs after finding themselves too scared to go down. Number 9. X-Scream. If you were one of those kids on the playground who spent hours on the teeter-totter, climbed the playground structures against the teacher's warnings, or did flips out of the swing set, then the X-Scream is probably right for you. It's pretty much a giant, dangerous teeter-totter that tilts its passengers 27 feet off the edge of the Stratosphere skyscraper in Las Vegas. Fortunately, you'll be able to rest assured that the technology the ride runs on is pretty secure. It works by using a physical magnetic braking system. As the ride tilts and moves towards the edge, a blade attached underneath the car slips between magnets and rubber until they don't allow it to move anymore. Still, the ride is known as the X-Scream for a reason. You probably won't be able to stop screaming. If you're an adrenaline seeker, be sure to check this one out.
We're constantly adding more people to the Top 5's production team to bring you all the best content. Be sure to subscribe with notifications on and hit the like button.
Number 8. Schweeb. While most of the rides on this list come from theme parks and serve as adrenaline-inducing tourist attractions, the Schweeb is much different. Not only would it be extremely fun and thrilling to experience, but it's being proposed as a rapid transit system as opposed to a theme park ride. The Schweeb is essentially a transit network that's based on human-powered cars moving along a rail. The system was originally designed and implemented in Rotorua, New Zealand. Soon after, it received funding from Google to be further developed. While it hasn't yet spread to other parts of the world, the original version can be ridden by the public in New Zealand. So head over to the Kiwi Nation to take the Schweeb for a spin. The design is based on a bicycle-like technology suspended inside a pod that moves along a monorail. Passengers travel by pedaling, just like on a bike. Number 7. Wild Gorge Swing. If you really just want to get your blood pumping, then look no further into going on this wild ride known as the Wild Gorge Swing. The ride consists of standing at the top of a massive waterfall before leaping from the edge. Fortunately, you won't crash into any trees, rocks, or water below, but you will plunge into a 165-meter tall gorge while dangling from a harness and swinging from one side to the other. The swing is often reported as being the highest in the world. The ride is roughly the same as jumping off a 55-story skyscraper, and many passengers reach speeds of up to 120 kilometers an hour. While you will be securely strapped into a harness for safety before you feel the incredible freefall, the thrill of taking the Wild Gorge Swing for a go is unmatched. Fortunately, it's a full-body harness, so you won't be gripped around the ankles the way you would with a typical bungee jump. Still, that won't be enough to convince people with a fear of heights to ride, as the freefall is terrifying. But it remains beautiful, especially when you view the gorge from above. Number 6. Nothing But Net. If you've ever wanted to experience what it's like to be in freefall without having to go leap out of an airplane or literally become an astronaut, the Nothing But Net theme park attraction should give you some satisfaction. It can be found at the Zero Gravity Amusement Park in Dallas, Texas, a theme park dedicated entirely to experiences based on flying and falling. While every ride at the park is either extremely thrilling or extremely scary, Nothing But Net is the best of both worlds. The attraction is a 16-story high freefall. After being lifted to the top of a giant tower, you are released into the open air to fall over 130 feet to the ground below. Well, not exactly to the ground. Fortunately, a safety net below catches you before anything bad happens, but it doesn't take away from the excitement, as Nothing But Net doesn't have any bungee cables or parachutes. It is truly a 16-story freefall. Still, there are a few safety measures. For one, the double netting that catches you is stunt quality, so you definitely won't be breaking through it. Additionally, the release system drops you in a way that you land safely on your back. Number 5. Spin Dizzy. As a kid, did you ever play with Tonka trucks or other toy construction equipment? Have you ever wanted to just ride in an excavator bucket as it swings you around? Okay, that second question might be somewhat of a stretch, but if so, the Spin Dizzy ride might just be a dream come true. The Spin Dizzy is essentially a giant JCB tracked excavator that's been seriously modified to seat 8 passengers and serve as a theme park ride. And when we say seriously, we're really hoping they did it correctly. One can only imagine the danger of sitting families in an excavator bucket and just spinning them around. Fortunately, there are laws for that kind of thing, but you get the idea. Still, Spin Dizzy is not for the faint of heart. After lifting you high up into the air, the Spin Dizzy rotates around and around until you're extremely disoriented. But it doesn't stop there. The excavator then spins you around the other way. Believe it when people say that you don't want to get on this thing right after you've had lunch. It's located in Diggerland, a construction equipment-based theme park chain found in the UK. Number 4. Vanishing Coaster. Known as the Vanishing Coaster, this is one wild ride that should definitely make any list of the world's top crazy and unusual roller coasters. Known simply as Vanish, this world-class roller coaster is extremely unique and thrilling. The one-of-a-kind experience takes passengers through an incredible underwater tunnel for 2 minutes. If you get nervous in tight spaces or have a fear of being underwater, then this ride probably isn't for you. It's known as the Vanishing Roller Coaster because of the way people seem to vanish as they're taken underwater into the tunnel. While the Vanishing Coaster is definitely not for the faint-hearted, it's located at the Cosmo World Amusement Park in Yokohama, Japan, which is full of plenty of rides for those unwilling to get on this underwater tunnel experience. But if you're daring, riding this roller coaster all the way through the beautiful tunnel, vanishing into the water as you hit the surface, you'll find it to be an extremely rewarding and thrilling experience. And if you're a total junkie for frightening park rides, you'll come out the other side of the tunnel waiting for the chance to get back in. Number 3. Flying Fury. As one of the most interactive park rides available, the Flying Fury is a massive machine that remains a highly popular attraction at any theme park or event. The miniature planes on the Flying Fury machines are able to hold 4 passengers that get spun and swung around until they're dizzy. The most interesting and unusual thing about this ride, however, is the insane amount of control that's given to its passengers. Anyone riding in the miniature planes are able to control the plane as the Flying Fury moves it around. By handling a joystick, riders can do barrel rolls and rotations as if they were steering an airplane. The planes can spin uncontrollably at about 15 rounds per minute, or be slowed down to about 7 rounds per minute, depending on the preference of its passengers. The Flying Fury was designed by Italian ride manufacturer Technical Park in the 2000s and debuted for the first time as a prototype in the summer of 2007. Since then, it's become an extremely popular ride and praised for how interactive it is. The ride stands 30 meters tall, with each airplane reaching a peak height of an astonishing 40 meters. To add to the theme of the ride and the overall aesthetic, the planes have been designed to have look and feel of the early state of aviation. For anyone with a strong stomach and a fascination with airplanes or dizzying rides, this one's for you. Number 2. SkyRoller. With most theme park rides, you kind of know what to expect. Most of us have ridden on some sort of festival ride at some point in our lives, whether it's roller coasters, Ferris wheels, or drop towers. Park rides can be very thrilling, yet seem to be the same few rides at every event. But since the late 1940s, ride manufacturers and designers have been competing to find the best ways to make rides more unique and interactive. That's where SkyRoller comes into play. Designed by the German ride manufacturer Gerstlauer, the SkyRoller is one of the best examples of how much interactive ride design has evolved, especially when compared with some older rides. This swing-like creation might look like a typical thriller park ride you find at a county fair, but it takes things to a whole new level. Upon further inspection, perhaps by getting on this thing, you'll find that the strange contraption allows its passengers to control how many times they do barrel rolls by changing the position of the wings as the machine whirls them around. Because of the level of control given to the riders, the attraction has the potential to be widely appealing. Those who get nauseous on park rides may find that this isn't as crazy as some of the others, but those who do enjoy being tossed and thrown around can make themselves spin like crazy for the duration of the ride. Seriously, this ride makes its passengers look like a swarm of flies spinning around. Number 1. Ko-Okiri Body Plunge. If you're somebody who happens to enjoy just plunging from ridiculously high locations at incredible speeds, then the Ko-Okiri Body Plunge water slide is the perfect place for you to get the thrill you're seeking. Located at the legendary Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida, the Ko-Okiri Body Plunge is one of the flagship attractions at the Volcano Bay. This insane slide drops adventure seekers from a height of 125 feet in the air at a 70-degree angle. The weird part about it is the odd but thrilling feeling of plunging out of a volcano at who knows how fast. It's just like the volcano erupted and sent you flying out of it. The volcano, known as Krakatoa, actually has 3 exhilarating water slides exiting from its peak. Built in 2017, the tropical-themed Volcano Bay replaced the Wet n Wild water park and quickly became one of Universal Orlando's most famous theme parks. The volcano Krakatoa stands as Volcano Bay's centerpiece, rising to an astonishing 200 feet tall and decorating the park with beautiful waterfall, as well as the screams of passengers plunging down its slides. Featuring 4 different areas and over 18 attractions, the 25-acre Volcano Bay is currently one of the most visited water parks in the country. The park has implemented special wristbands containing wireless technology. These wristbands allow guests to line up virtually without having to physically wait in a line. Still, its most famous attraction is sure to have a long waiting time, as thrill seekers from across the world come to experience it.
Watch our binge-watching playlist if you'd like to watch all of our most popular top 15 videos. Grab a drink, grab a snack, and get ready to binge.